In the repair shop today, Susie hits a bum note, trying to save an endangered rhino.
This is so undignified.
While Steve impresses with some sterling work on a little racer.
That is, in my eyes, that's a work of art.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome, sir. I'm in awe of you, mate. I'm in awe.
First to arrive at the repair shop, church trustee Brian McPhee and friends.
Hi, Guy. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm Dom.
They have travelled from Gosport in Hampshire in search of a man who knows his metal.
George, hi. Nice to meet you. Ellen,
Hello.
hi.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you. What have you brought for us? Wow.
That.
Right, well, let's try and get it in the barn.
Leave the curtains.
Dominic Chinea is the expert now in charge of this rusty relic, a century-old weather vane.
This is amazing. It is absolutely brilliant.
I thought you'd just tell us to leave it in the boot and go home.
I get on the edge of that, yeah. No, never, never. Tell me all about it.
Well, it was on top of the Gosport Methodist Church spire for approximately 98 years.
Wow. Has it come down recently, or...?
No, it came down in 2002. We were having problems with pigeons.
Right.
And so we got a steeplejack in to stop the pigeons from roosting.
OK.
We said to him, while you're up there, can you have a look at the weather vane? So he put his ladders up, went up, and he came back down and he says, I think you need to have it down. So we said, when? He said, yesterday. He said, because if you don't, it's in fear of falling off.
Causing some damage.
Causing a lot of damage.
It is very rusty. It needs an awful lot of work.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very big job.
It's one of the letters missing, as you can see.
Yes.
So that'll be a
I think that's the
challenge,
least of the
making
worries.
And everything inside there is seized up, so it won't swing
So
with the wind.
This green part should be free to rotate.
Should be free to spin round. It never moved all the time that I was there, and I joined the church in 1975.
Wow.
I mean, I think I'd be weathered like that if I'd have been on top of a 90-foot spire for 100 years. Yeah. At least we've got all the bits.
Most of the bits.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not making any promises, but if we can save it or at least get it into a bit better shape,
Yeah.
what do you plan to do with it afterwards?
Well, what we would like to do is put it into the church garden.
Brilliant.
You know, at least it'll be on show then.
As it's part of the heritage of the church, I think that's why it's important that we try and get it restored and people can actually see it again.
Well, I'll do the best I can. It is a big job.
That's
so
all that one can ask for.
we'll do what we can.
Yeah, but mind your fingers, there's some sharp edges in there.
Thank you all so much for bringing it in. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Been a pleasure.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, Henry. Thank you.
Good luck. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Hopefully it can get it looking as if somebody cares for it. That's what we'd like to see. I think there'll be a lot of interest if we can get the weather vane put back in the garden.
It's quite overwhelming at the moment how rusty it actually is. Probably one of the rustiest things I've worked on. And also one of the most fragile, even though it's so heavy. The most obvious thing here is I'm missing an E, which is really unfortunate, so we're going to have to remake that. The top pointer part of the weather vane is a vital part of the whole reason why it's up there, to tell which direction the wind's facing. That needs to spin freely. The next thing I'll probably tackle would be these scrolls. Just do some very small as possible little repairs, but it's pretty much on every single one. So there's quite a lot to do. To do that, I think I'm going to have to take the whole thing apart. Working on something like this creates a few sort of moral dilemmas of how far do you go? It would be very easy to almost over-restore it. I just want to try and save as much as I can.
Next into the repair shop, Claire Short and her husband Tom from Leicestershire, with a gift that marked a milestone birthday.
Wow. Now, that is cute. I do like that. I'm Jay.
Nice to meet you, Jay. I'm Claire.
All right, Claire?
I'm Tom.
All right,
Nice
Tom?
to meet you.
So what have we got here, then?
This is my leather rhinoceros footstool.
Cool. Susie, mind joining me? Look at this.
Suzie Fletcher is a master saddler with 40 years' experience of working with leather.
What do we have here?
Yeah, so tell us about the Rhino.
Well, this is Ralph. He was made on the street where I lived in a sort of craft workshop. And when I was a little girl on my way to school, you could look through a small gap in the fence and they were getting the leather ready and they were stretching it out. And they made gorillas and pigs and hippos, but obviously the most beautiful of all was the rhinoceros.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously.
Of course.
So every day I used to go by and look, and I used to say to my mum, I really want one of those, and she'd say it's too expensive, we can't afford it. And then when I was 18, on my 18th birthday, there he was. He was all wrapped up in paper, but as soon as I saw him, I knew what he was, because you could kind of tell.
Oh, I think he's fabulous. I really like him.
Good. Oh, I'm glad you like him, because he was one of the last gifts my mother gave me. Not long after that, my mother died, because the treatment for breast cancer in the 1980s was not as good as it is today. And so, unfortunately, she didn't live and she died at 49. So Ralph has got great sentimental value, and I want to keep him for my children who love him, but also I want to keep him as a memory of my mum.
So what would you like us to do with...
I'd like you to make him like he used to be when I first got him, really. Both of his eyes were actually intact, and his bum had a tail in it.
Right.
He's not had the best life, unfortunately. He has been quite damaged by my children, who rode him two at a time and dragged him around the house by his tail.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then my son's cat scratched him quite badly. So he's been, he's been quite badly damaged.
Oh, look at this.
He's been loved to death.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing it.
Lovely, thank you, Jay. We'll
All
leave
right.
him with you.
Thank you.
And take good care of him.
Thank
We will
you.
do.
Very
We
much.
will.
Thank you. It's going to be a pleasure. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I'm feeling a bit weird about leaving Ralph here in the barn. Feels a bit empty-handed coming out without him. I feel a bit sad, really, that he's in such a poor state, because he can be a very beautiful, proud rhinoceros.
He's been with Claire longer than I've been with Claire, so he's a member of the family. Now we're just hoping he gets a second chance. We just want Ralph to be proud again.
Yeah.
Ralph, like all the other items that we get in here, have such emotional attachment for people. And it's so nice that we can be part of that kind of history to just keep things going.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
I think that's why we get so excited about these items. And for Claire, clearly, she loves this rhino.
Yeah.
Ralph was designed by Dimitri Omersa, a political refugee from former Yugoslavia. Dimitri moved to England in 1955 and found work in the leather trade. His creations included leather elephants, donkeys, and rhinos, and they are still being produced and sold today.
Unfortunately, Ralph has some pretty extensive damage. You know, these wounds are quite deep. That cat just went to town on his hide. And we know that he's missing his tail. But thankfully, we have the tail. So just need to have a look at his tummy. Looks like all the seams are intact. No, it doesn't look like any of the threads underneath have come undone, which is great. He's just a little bit baggy under here.
Stuffed animals aren't Susie's usual fare, but with a workshop full of conservators, help is at hand from the teddy bear ladies, experts in baggy bottoms and saggy tums.
Julie, can I borrow you a minute, please? This is Ralph.
Hi, Ralph.
I've got a bit of a dilemma here because Ralph has got a very flabby tummy.
Okay.
And I don't really know if I can get in here to plump him up a bit.
If he was a bear, we would use the closing seam.
And he's coming apart here.
Okay, well, that's because that's his closing seam.
Okay.
You see, the tail would have been the last thing that went in as they were closing him. So I think, and he's, excuse me, Ralph.
Sorry.
He's stuffed with wood wool.
Yeah.
So it's probably just broken down, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not lost any of it.
Right.
Do you want to use my gubbins?
I'd love to use your gubbins, whatever they are.
Okay. So so. Stuffing stick.
Have I got to put that in here?
I'm trying to be a professional here. You'd think they could have put the closing seam somewhere else, really, couldn't you? Like in his belly.
I know.
or
Sorry.
something.
Let's get on. Yeah. All right, Ralph. I'm so sorry. This'll hurt just a little bit. Oh, dear. This is so undignified. Well, there's things crunching, so that's
Good. That'll be the wood board.
That'll be woodboard.
But you need to, yeah.
A twisty action. I'll just have a root around.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
have fun.
I will. All right.
See you later.
If I get stuck, I'll call you back.
Okay.
All
Bye
right.
then.
Thanks. All my years of training and becoming a master saddler, this is certainly not a job I ever expected to be doing. I grab his horn and wedge in.
Metalworker Dom is also wrestling with his project. He's been in the metal workshop for hours, deconstructing the rust-ridden weather vane.
How are we doing, Mr. Metal? You all right?
It's a tricky one.
A tricky one?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, this. It's worse than I expected.
OK. It sounds like you're on the ropes here a bit.
Yeah, it's just the more bits I touch, the more bits keep falling off. We were already missing the E, but then look, just now the end's now come off.
The north is gone, and we need north.
We need north, it's kind of essential.
It's all going south. No, it's all going east, because we've lost east.
We've lost east, yeah. All the ends of the scrolls have just rotten away. I'm making templates and measurements whilst I've got the information here.
Okay, right.
But basically, I need to hand make all of these the ends of these scrolls and just weld them back in.
OK.
But there's a lot of them.
Well, what I want to do for you is I want to make this easier, so tell me what we need to do.
Like, this is a little template I've been starting to just get here. It would basically just help to go to the forge, because we can heat this up, and there's all the proper tooling over there to shape it and bend it around.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get making then.
Let's go.
Oh, this is heavy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's off to the repair shop Forge, a workshop specialising in the craft of bending and shaping metal. The blacksmith in charge is Nick Wedlock.
How we doing, Nick?
Hi, Jay.
You all right?
Yeah, not so bad.
Well, this is what I was telling you about. It's all right to put it on the bench?
Yeah, please do, yeah.
All right.
So look, I've made this as a kind of template, so hopefully that makes sense as to what that...
It does.
Yeah?
It does. I can use that as a pattern. Right. Always like a bit of free labour, so...
I'm glad somebody noticed.
Doing a good job, Jay, yeah.
The basic principles of the blacksmith's trade have remained virtually unchanged for over 3,000 years. The steel is heated to over 1,000 degrees Celsius, then shaped against the anvil by exact strikes of the hammer.
Let's have a look at that, compare it. We'll put that down on there. That is pretty
Fantastic.
much there, isn't it, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the first one done then. If they all come out as good as that, I'll be really pleased,
I'll be
actually.
over the moon, yeah.
So how many we need of these?
Well, we need like 10, 15.
15 of
Maybe
these?
more, yeah.
Oh, so we've got loads more to make.
Loads more.
Come on in, man.
Yeah?
I'm pumping away here.
I've
Come
got
on.
a piece here ready, yep.
Good, good.
Next, to bless the repair shop with a visit, Reverend Mike Chinea. He's here to see the repair shop's authority in all things clockwork, Steve Fletcher.
Hello there, I'm Steve. Hi, Steve, I'm Mike. Hi, Mike.
Good to meet you.
What have you brought in?
Well, I got my Jaguar, but it's in my pocket.
Oh my goodness. Pop it on here, let's have a look at it. That's very smart.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
It's heavier than I thought it was
It
going
is,
to be.
yes. It's quite a solid lump.
Where does this come from?
Well, my father, when I was about 11 or 12, was sent to America. He brought it back as a present.
This must have been quite an expensive gift when it was new, I'd imagine.
I guess it was. We weren't a well-off family. My father was an engineer, but he was sent to America for just 3 weeks, I think it was.
Right.
And my sister and I had a post office savings account each. And he borrowed £10 off us each to buy a new suit to go.
Oh, my goodness.
So, you see, it was to buy something like that, heaven knows what it cost, but, I mean, it was a big deal.
That was a lot for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So I played with it and played with it. It will do, when it works, it will do circles, or you can steer it, you know, yourself with this lever here. And it's got 3 forward gears and a reverse, which are operated from that lever there. But I'm afraid, like all children, I played with it.
Well done.
It hasn't worked for 50 years, I
For
should think.
50 years, right?
Gotta be, yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
OK, and have you got the key for it?
I'm sorry, I haven't got the key, no.
OK. It's a beautifully made piece.
It is, isn't it?
If I can get it going, what sort of memories will it bring back to you?
Yeah, well, it brings back memories of childhood, obviously, and memories of father. My father's been deceased now for 18 years, so it'd be nice to say, well, there's a link back again, and I can hand it on to either my son or my grandson one day, provided I don't play with it too much.
Look forward to playing with it myself. Then,
yes, do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. The Jaguar has been an ornament. It's not been a toy anymore, but it's been something to look at and something to dream about, that I might have the real thing one day, but having taken holy orders, I don't think there's much chance of that. I'm not worried about it being in pristine condition, but I would like it mechanically working so that it could be used again.
This little beauty was produced by the German firm Premita, which first manufactured toy cars in 1948. These models' big selling point was that an adult could stand on the toy and it wouldn't break. And Steve's hoping this one has proved just as durable.
Just having the first look at the car, this is the time where I find out whether it's absolutely falling apart in there or whether there's just some small repairs that need doing. And some of the screws will be holding some of the mechanism. I don't want to take the wrong screw out and hear a whiz bang where everything comes loose. I think the reason I like working on these Clockwork toys is that they are so different to clocks, and they're a real challenge. There is an issue with the teeth, and they are damaged slightly on the tips. And it is because the bearing that this is supposed to be running into is completely missing. And so instead of the teeth nicely engaging, they've been just hitting on the tips like that and damaging the tips, or even running through as well.
To get the teeth back in alignment, Steve must repair the wobble by stabilizing the mechanism.
I think what I might do is I might just make up a bush for this bearing, and I'm pretty sure that's all it needs in there. I'm not saying that that's the only thing that's wrong with it, but it's looking quite positive.
Over at her workbench, Suzie has plumped Ralph the Rhino and restitched his bottom.
Ralph now has his tail back on, which is looking really rather lovely. Good, we're good, happy with that.
But Ralph's hide is still bearing the scars of a tangle with the family cat.
I've just mixed up some PVA with a bit of water. I want it to be quite liquid, this, so that I can get it down in where those holes are. I don't want to saturate it. You just want enough on there so it's going to reattach. Whilst it looks quite extreme, the damage, and actually there is a fair amount here to do, the good news is that this leather is such good quality and it's got some thickness to it. It's going to repair very nicely. If it had been a thinner leather, this would have torn all the way through. This is going to come out really quite nice. It's just going to take a little bit of time gluing all these little bits back. Now I think it's time for Ralph to be given a bit of food. His hide has got very, very dry. It is a bit dull. Leather, when it's tanned, has oils and fats put into the hide to help keep it supple. And the feeding replaces the oils and the greases that the leather can lose just by being out in the atmosphere. I find looking after leather incredibly therapeutic myself because you just see it coming back to life.
Steve's striving for a revival of his own. And although parts of the Mini Jaguar fix feel very familiar to a clock repairer, other elements are proving tricky.
The simple bush that I thought I was going to make and push in isn't simple at all. It's more complex. I've got to make a bearing to slide over that, but that bearing that slides over that has got to coincide with this unit here for speeding up and slowing it down. So this pushes it up and pushes it down. So I've done this diagram to actually help me get all the measurements right and design the shape, etc. So it's not just a straight step. It's got to have a slight rounded bit on it, otherwise it'll lock into this unit too much. So there's so many variables. I've just got to make one to see whether it works or not.
Steve has to create the ring-shaped bush from a solid piece of brass.
So I'm just going to put a hole through for the pivot. Let's see if that actually fits in now. So pushing the lever side to side pushes the wheel up and down now. I think is working as it should do. So it pushes through to being off and then goes across to the other side to be in reverse. Let's just wind it up.
It's the moment of truth for Steve's handiwork. The car's mechanism hasn't worked for 50 years.
It's working. I think with a few more little tweaks, I think this is going to work absolutely spot on. Very pleased with that.
Oh, this sounds promising. What do you reckon? Are we nearly there?
Yeah.
That's quite cool.
And goes
I was
in reverse as
reversing.
well.
So now you've got this working for Mike.
Yeah.
It would be nice, I think. I've done a bit of research and found out that these guys used to have a special key, shaped of a policeman, where his arm's like that, and he's got the other arm sticking out there.
Right.
And then you wind it up, and then it'll be off. Because you were just going to give him that, weren't you?
Not that one, but I was going to give him one similar.
All right, here you go, look.
Oh, my word.
There you are. See? Can you do that?
I'll make something similar.
He's going to be well chuffed, because you've got this fixed, and you're going to make him one of those.
Crikey.
I'll leave it with you.
I've worked out from a picture the scale of the key here and worked out the actual size from measuring the car that I've got. And I found a couple of old pieces of brass, and I'm about to start cutting them up and joining the various bits together until I get to that.
Steve's plan is to use 6 pieces of brass and shape and solder them into a working 3D policeman key.
It's quite a nice project, really, to do something completely different. I don't usually get to fabricate anything like this and do any carving and filing of brass to make it into a shape. I'm just about to turn up the head for the Jaguar key. Once I've done that, I'll then shape it. Then I've got to drill it, pin it, and then put it in the main body, which is coming on quite well. Everything's just pinned together at the moment. Once I've got everything finished, then I've got to hard solder it all, then clean it up, polish it, and should be all done then.
Outside, Dom is planning his next steps in the renovation of the church weather vane.
I'm finding all sorts of clues and little hints as to what it would have originally looked like, which is really interesting. You can see there's really nice sort of deep forest green. More exciting than that, I keep finding tiny little hints of gold leaf, which is amazing. I can't wait. I really hope that we're going to be able to re-gild this. It's going to look beautiful with little gold accents and that green paint. I do actually enjoy little bits like this, of just trying to keep it as accurate as we can and just uncovering all this history.
Next, Dom's attention turns to the currently non-turning pointer on top of the vane.
Are you nervous?
But a century of weather exposure means it's a tough nut to crack.
Wow. It's great news that this is off. I'm so pleased. Actually, a lot of the mechanics of this pivot point is going to be able to be reused, which is really great news. I'm really pleased with that.
Dom can now begin rebuilding the weather vane. Welding on his newly forged scrolls. With the steel sections now intact, Dom can begin cleaning up the copper elements of the vane, hidden under 100 years of tarnish.
They've got this beautiful patina of all this verdigris on it, which is like an oxidization, which is just a natural thing that occurs with copper when it's exposed to the elements.
But having the copper letters gleaming and shipshape means a certain lack of direction is all the more obvious. Dom needs to recreate an E that will look A-OK alongside the other three markers.
Luckily, my degree is in graphic design, so I've actually spent a good few years working with typefaces and typography. So taking as much information as I can from the existing letters to recreate a matching E. That's fantastic. I think that sits really nicely alongside the original letters. I've now just got to give that a quick polish so the sheen level matches what I've done to the originals, far around the edges. But other than that, I think it's going to look great. It's almost time to fit it.
But having all four directions is pointless without a pointer. With the copper arrow also now gleaming, it can be soldered back onto the central shaft. But with his area of expertise lying more in the welding of steel and iron, Dom has called upon Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Who's more used to the delicate soldering of precious metals.
All right, let's get it all into position. This is a sort of fairly critical point.
If the pieces are not perfectly aligned, the newly soldered joins will break when the wedges and clamps are removed.
You're a bit low. Yeah. This is a bit of a fiddly job. I'm glad you're here to help. Oh.
There we go.
Oh, that's...
Does that mean spot on?
No, that means almost.
OK.
Happy if you are?
Yeah. So let's give it a whirl. Not the easiest of soldering jobs.
No, I'm glad I didn't attempt it on my own. Thank you. That's great.
All right, leave it with you.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Back inside the barn, Suzie has polished and buffed Ralph the leather Rhino to near perfection. There's just one job left, and for that she's calling on furniture upholsterer Jay.
His eyes are a bit loose.
Yeah.
They slide from side to side.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you is, because you do this with buttoning.
Yeah, you do.
Now, how do I best tie this off?
Well, I would have done it slightly different than this one,
how
because I'm understanding.
How would you do it then?
I would have fed this one, then come through.
Yeah.
And then tie a kind of like a slip knot on there, pull it, and then that draws that one in, pulls that one in, and then you
I have no idea what you're talking about.
OK, let me take all this out.
So the needle goes through there.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it creates kind of a loop.
I gotcha.
And then you feed that one through there. And then you pull it. So as soon as that's tight now, what you then do is go around the eye.
Yes.
Because it's like a button.
Yes.
And then you tie a knot. Oh, it's good string as well. I do like it.
Yeah, it is.
So all we do then is we cut them off.
Yeah.
Make sure it's nice and tight, which it is. And then those just get poked into there. And that's the simplest way that I know of doing the buttons. So it's tie a knot, pull them tight, and then the eyes get dragged in.
Because I wasn't sure how I was going to draw them together.
Yeah.
With his eyes secure, Ralph is ready to be reunited with his owner, Claire.
I'm really excited and nervous about being reunited with Ralph. I'm looking forward to seeing him because I've really missed him. I'm hoping that Suzie has been able to make Ralph look handsome and proud and that we can all enjoy him. Hello.
Hello, Claire.
Hi, Jay. How lovely to see you again.
Lovely to see you.
Pretty good.
It's good.
Nice to see you, Sue.
Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
You ready?
I'm really excited now. I can see he's here.
He is here.
Oh,
He's very much here.
He looks a bit like he was wrapped up for my birthday on my 18th.
Come on, Suzie.
All right, let's do the honours. OK, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, God, he looks brand new.
Oh, he's lovely.
Oh. Oh, Ralphie.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much.
I don't know how you've done it.
Oh, just, you know, a little bit of work.
There's absolutely nothing on him that isn't perfect. His bottom, I've got to see.
Yes, have a look at his bottom.
His bum looks great. Oh, gosh, you know.
He's got his tail back.
He looks like the day my mother gave him to me, and she laughed at me. She laughed. It was such a big joke. I got you a rhinoceros. Happy 18th, have a rhinoceros.
How did you do that?
And he's amazing. It was a great joke between us, and I like to keep that alive. Like to keep the fun memories that we had.
Absolutely. Can I show you the other side? Because this was where
That's where
He
had
really
the
had
fight.
all of his scratching, didn't he?
Where is it?
You can't, geez, you can't see any of that. And his little eyes, look, you can see his eyes.
Oh, his eyes back, yeah.
His eyes are back in.
He had a bit of a saggy tummy.
He did have a saggy tummy, didn't he?
So it
it
needed to be plumped up a little bit.
So he feels like he's been to the gym now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a six-pack.
He must have been a challenge, but I am incredibly grateful. I'm really grateful.
We're stunned.
Well, I'm going to be very, very sorry to see him go, but...
I think we all
He's
are.
mine.
he is yours, but I have to say, if ever he needs a new home, please ask me first.
Or we do rhino sitting now, don't
Oh,
we?
yes, I will
We do rhino sitting.
I will absolutely do rhino sitting.
You're a genius, that's what I can
You're
say. An absolute
absolutely
genius.
brilliant.
Okay.
He's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
been a
thank you very
pleasure.
much.
Thank
It's been
you.
great.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jay. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Bless.
I'm going to miss him.
Well done, you.
Yeah,
Hey?
that was fun.
On to the next
Okay.
one now, Gil.
Oh, look at him.
He's beautiful. I'm really thrilled. He's more beautiful than I imagined.
He looks absolutely perfect. You've really struck a fine balance with keeping the history but making Ralph proud again.
It's nice to remember that I was 18 once and that I had a fantastic birthday with my mum and my whole family. And Ralph is a memory of that 18th birthday, something to keep forever.
Despite the owner of the miniature Jaguar being due back any moment to collect it, there's an air of calm over on Steve's workbench.
Steve, I thought you was making the key.
How's that? Say what?
I'll tell you what, you're going to get something special. This doesn't happen very often.
This isn't a wind-up.
Sir, thank you. That is unbelievable. In my eyes, that's a work of art.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome, sir. I'm in awe of you, mate. I'm in awe.
Oh, bless you, bless you.
And I know Michael's going to be made up because
Yeah.
his Jaguar's working.
Yeah.
And he's got a policeman telling him Take that corner, turn down there. Well, he's here in a minute. Let's get it wrapped up.
OK.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve.
Cheers.
Owner Mike has returned to collect his beloved childhood toy, which has lain stationary on a shelf for half a century.
I'm feeling excited, apprehensive. I'm hoping that it will work and that it will remind me of the times that I played with it when I was a child and bring back those good memories when I first had it and it was brought back to me by my father.
How you doing, Mike?
Hi, Jay. Good
All
to
right.
see you. Yeah,
likewise.
Fine, thanks.
Come to get your car.
Yes, please.
Yeah? All right. Steve?
Hello, Mike.
Steve, good to see you again.
How are you?
Oh, I'm all right, thanks. How are
Good.
you?
Yeah, good.
Any success? Maybe out in your pocket? Have you?
Well,
That's why I brought it in.
You remember?
Funnily enough. There we go.
There she is.
Yep.
Yeah. Well done, you. Does it work?
Well, I think you'll need a key.
Yeah, well, that's something that was missing.
What was the key like, though? What?
I can't remember.
Right.
No.
But you know it came brand new with a key.
With a key in a box.
In a box.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether, because you can't remember the key,
No, I can't.
what shape it is, or was,
No, I
whether
can't.
this will bring back any memories.
Do you know it does?
Right?
It does. Yes. Have you made that?
I've made that, yeah.
You are a star. Look at that. Isn't that super? How did you know that?
A bit of research. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, well, well. That's a work of art in itself.
It is, isn't it?
Would you like to wind it up?
I will. You ready for this?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
It will go in reverse as well.
Oh, we'll reverse. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much. That's a stunner, that is. Thank you.
Good.
It's been an ornament for 50 years. Play again.
You can play again.
Keep it out of the way of grandchildren, I think, for the time being. That's really super. Thank you very much indeed. I'm chuffed with both of those, because I just think that's a bit of genius to get that going, but this is craftsmanship.
It was a pleasure to work on, so
Was it?
thank you very much for bringing it in.
Oh, well, that's nice
No,
to
it's
know.
been really enjoyable.
Good.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Good to meet you.
Likewise.
And Steve,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you for your skill.
Bye then. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Well done, man.
Hey.
It was a great one.
Yeah, good one.
I knew you could do it.
Thank you very much.
Another challenge on its way, mate.
It's quite emotional, really, because it's been stationary for so many years. Mending the actual mechanism in the car was wonderful, but the key is a real work of art and something to behold. The key, for me, is the icing on the cake.
With the toy car speeding its way back home, there's just the weather vane left to complete. Dom's poured hours of hard work into the renovation. A huge item and one of the most damaged pieces he's ever faced. He's painted the newly intact structure to replicate the original shade. And he's now gilding accents with gold leaf.
So I'm aware the weather vane's going back outside once it gets back to the church. For that reason, I've decided to use 23 carat gold, which it won't tarnish, basically. Anything less, 18 carats or any other silvers and coppers would all tarnish with the weather. Working on projects like this, it's been so long thinking and planning and researching, I really do become quite attached to them, and I think it's really worth just going this extra mile, just putting the gold leaf on. It's really gonna do it justice.
Dom set a course to the coastal town of Gosport in Hampshire to deliver the weather vane back to the community.
It's been a very long road working on this weather vane. It's been a lot of hours and hours of quite difficult work. It was a lot worse than I originally thought it was going to be. So I'm feeling really anxious, excited, but really anxious to see Brian's face when he sees the weather vane. It looks so different to when he brought it down to us. I don't know how he's going to react to it. What are you hoping to see?
Even if you've only put another letter on and given it a coat of paint, you know, so it looks respectable, you know, that's all we would ask for.
Oh, I want to show it to you outside. I can't wait for you to see it outside. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people outside waiting to see it.
Can we get it
You're
mounted?
itching to show them all. Yeah.
I'm itching to get it out on the plinth.
I bet.
Yeah, let's get it outside and get it mounted. I've been on about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I think people were getting a bit fed up. Yeah, when's it coming? When's it coming? So now it's here, I think, now that they'll be only too pleased to come out. Very, very excited. All right, Joan? Are you all excited to see it? Because I am. Yes. Oh, right, let's go. Oh, my goodness me. Wow. Oh, goodness. Oh, look at that. It's moving. Oh, that was seized solid when we... And, oh, there we know which way the wind's blowing.
Absolutely fantastic. Don's done a marvellous job with it. I really can't believe how it's turned out. It really is wonderful.
That, to us now, will be cherished for years and years and years to come. I don't know how you've done it. I honestly don't. And look at the letters. We've even got an E.
It's a treat for me to see it again after all these years. It goes back a long way.
I am absolutely gobsmacked. You know, he's done a brilliant, brilliant job on it, and he deserves all the praise that he can get for doing it.